What's up, guys?
What is up? Who's going to be first today?
We'll be first. Now, those of you who are watching this recorded on YouTube, usually we do everything live, so everything is completely raw. So if you're watching this and we say, hey, what's up? It's because we're Facebook Live or YouTubing it. We're doing Zoom meetings, so don't be weirded out. We usually wait for
Melissa Decker.
Melissa Decker, Inspector
Yes.
Deck.
Inspector Deck in the house.
Melissa, we're going to learn about deadlifts today. Those of you watching, we're going to learn about deadlifts. Robin Wallace in the hizzy. Get that Mizo belt charged.
Yep. Kim, welcome back.
Kim.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Stronger TV.
Welcome back, Kata.
Yeah, all right.
Give you guys a little bit of waves.
Wavy gravy.
Wavy. Right.
All right, so we'll start with the with you guys first. Alicia, what's up? Today we're going to talk about deadlifts. Deadlifts get a bad rap because they're called deadlifts, and usually if you were to YouTube deadlifts, you see a power lifter or a world strongman lifting the most heaviest weight you've ever seen. At the top, his nose bleeds and he passes out. Yeah, pisses himself. But the beauty of a deadlift is that there's so much good things that come from not just the movement, but from grabbing some sort of respectable weight and lifting it off the ground and squeezing it. Joe, you want to talk about some of the great benefits of a deadlift?
So think of a deadlift as a total body exercise, okay? So if it's like Frank said, if it's a respectable weight that you're picking up off the ground, then you're using grip, right? Good grip strength. From there, all the way up the chain, grip, shoulder stability, able to keep that shoulder down and back. You got your lats that are firing, your erector spinae right here that has to fire so you don't round over. Also, the most important muscle in your body, your glutes, your hammies, all that stuff is firing at the same time, allowing yourself to pick that heavy weight up safely off the ground. All that stuff's happening at the same exact time.
So Joe, put it back down and keep your hands on the pillow. Now just imagine that Joe had a very respectable weight for him. I'm gonna move over here. Just look at this position. Think of what his body has to do to get into this position. See how he's sitting back? Hip mobility. He has good core stability, the upper back mobility, just to get in that position. So this is a flexibility, mobility exercise too. Now, think of this. When Joe grabs it tight and he lifts it up, think about all the work his backside has to do to pull that weight up and squeeze. All right, Joe, you can put it back down. So we always talk about this. The most important part of your body isn't the stuff in the front. That's the show.
Yes.
The stuff in the back is really the go, which is the butt, the hamstrings, the erector spinae, your shoulders. So it really does give you all the mobility you need in all the mobility spots that we lack, but it also increases strength in what we believe is some of the most important parts.
Yeah.
One more fact about deadlifts, if you talk to any old school powerlifter or bodybuilder, or if you ask anyone, if there was one exercise that you could choose and only do that, it would be a deadlift, because that alone would strengthen everything in your body. That one lift will strengthen and mobile everything.
Right. I don't know of somebody that can deadlift a lot of weight that isn't just a strong person in general. It's not like you can deadlift 400 pounds, but you can't do a push-up or you can't do a pull-up. Like, being able to deadlift a respectable weight the proper way says a lot about your ability to move weight and be in shape.
All right, Joe, so let's talk simple deadlifting right now. Now, it's my first time deadlifting. Hook me up with the setup, tell me how to do it, and then I'll talk you through what I can and can't do.
So first things first, I would suggest everybody that's starting to deadlift, if you've never done it before, see if you can touch your toes. So just go back, touch your toes. All right, awesome. You see how there was a roundness in Frank's back? That is okay when we don't have weight. We're just trying to see if you can get down there, touch the toes without any pain back there.
Now let's just say I can.
You can't. So what I would suggest is, you know what, guys? We're not deadlifting yet, but we're gonna do some mobility stuff and strength work to get you down there. There's a bunch of stuff that we can show you guys to do. But let's say he passed the toe touch test. Awesome, now we're gonna grab a lightweight just to see if he can do that with proper form. So you're gonna bring your feet on either side of the kettlebell.
So right between my legs?
Yes, so actually where the arches of your feet are, so a little bit more. So basically, if you were standing sideways, you shouldn't be able to see the kettlebell. Perfect. Now, as you go down, you want to not squat. We're going to bring your hips all the way back, and your knees, believe it or not, will start bending when they need to. From here, you want to take your shoulders and your elbows, shoulder blades down and back, pinch your armpits, get those lats nice and tight, grip the kettlebell as hard as you can, tighten those abs, rip it all the way up, stand up, and glutes fire. Perfect. It does not count unless when you come up, you're bringing your hips all the way and extending, tightening those glutes every single time.
It's human nature, everyone, to totally, when you're at the top, to stop here. But you really want to give me the extra boom.
That's where all the magic happens.
Boom. Believe it or not, Joe and I have taught people for years, believe it or not, to grab the weight from here, maybe from a rack position or a box, and just do this motion.
Yes.
This motion here, the finishing move, is the most important part of the deadlift.
Yes.
Now, one thing I want you guys to peek at are my shoulders right here. This is bad, the rounding. You want to pretend if I were tickling your armpit and you wanted me to stop, you would clamp down.
Yes.
Clamp those armpits down. Just by tightening your lats, it will keep your lower back safe.
Yes.
Boom.
All these muscles here too, the erector spinae around that spine, because he is bringing those shoulder blades down and back and your lats are tightening, that is keeping your lower back super safe, keeping everything nice and rigid.
So that, believe it or not, that is the ultimate way to do a deadlift. And if it's easy, go heavier. It's easy, go heavier. Now, I would say deadlifts are one of those self-correcting exercises, Joe, for the most part. Kind of like pushing a sled, where you really can't do it wrong, you just won't be able to lift it.
Exactly. The setup for whether you're doing 50 pounds or 500 pounds should look exactly the same, but the result is if you can't get that 500 pounds off the floor, you can't do it. It should look exactly the same though.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Now, that's in a perfect world. Now we start adding in some asterisks, which honestly, I do follow to some of these asterisks, and most of us will too. That's in the perfect world. World's not perfect. So, for some of us, let's just say that you come twice, you come 3 times a week with us, and we're deadlifting, and for some reason, that mobility in your legs, you just can't touch your toes. Maybe it's Keith Simmons. You're 6'4". Right. You might never touch your toes. So, we're not going to show you here, but you've seen this in the gym. Actually, we'll do it. Yep. So it may look like this. It may look like kettlebells on a box, and you'll tip. Sorry, it's still between your legs.
Yep.
You'll tip, grab, and squeeze. Because if you remember in lesson 1, it's that hip extension, squeeze movement, which is everything. Again, lift, squeeze, boom. The setup is the same. I tip, clamp those armpits, come up, and squeeze, put it back down, and relax. Now, of course, it should be a little lower than that.
Right.
Over time, as you start gaining mobility, we'll start making the boxes lower and lower. Another asterisk that we're going to add in here is, let's just say that you are the type of person where, for whatever reason, when you get in that super tight hamstring position, your body doesn't like it. We would love you there ultimately. It's not the end of the world if you try that and it's not working for you to start making a little squatty.
Yes.
We're okay with that. But ultimately, we'll always try to coach you on the hinge and the squeeze. But if you need to, we're okay with that too.
If you see what Frank just did there too, he still has more, his hips are doing still more than his knees. So as long as the hips are doing a little bit more than the knees.
Let me show you the difference. So this would be for me, this is a squatty deadlift.
Yep.
This is a squat.
You see how more upright he is?
Squat.
Yes.
Then
that is still more hip dominant than knee dominant.
So this is okay.
Yep.
That's okay. This, nah, just
Yeah.
squat, just squat.
Just squat.
Okay, so
What's up, Nina? Ashley? What is
so again, that would be more depth, hip position. It's all good in the hood. Now let's talk about foot position, Joe. What do you think a good foot position would be for the average person, and then we'll go from there.
For the average person, I know myself, I like it more narrow, but I would say for the average person, it would be about shoulder width,
Shoulder width, this is fine.
Yep.
Now for some of us, you may go a little wider,
depending on your hips.
depending on the hips. Now we do, on occasion, we'll let you do a sumo deadlift. But ultimately, it should be almost like an athletic stance. If I were to say we're
Jump.
we're gonna jump, or we're playing a baseball game and I was gonna throw you a baseball, you would just get in your athletic stance. For us, that's good enough.
I mean, for me personally, and probably you too, like, it's probably the same stance as a squat. Like, if I'm gonna grab a kettlebell and squat or deadlift, it's gonna basically look the same.
It should be the same.
Yeah.
If you're the type of person, let's just talk, forget about mobility for a second, let's just talk about injury and back pain. If you're the type of person where, let's just say, 10 years ago, you hurt your back really bad deadlifting, just understand that's going to cause a stigma inside of you, a fear of deadlifting that is more psychological than physical. You may have perfect mobility, but you hurt yourself 10 years ago deadlifting, so every time you get in that position, your body will try to protect itself because it's scared. It may move a different way, it may just not want to be in that position. If you're that type of person, we may never be able to teach you a correct way to deadlift because that's straight up some real shit going on. Because of that, if you hurt your back doing deadlifts 10 years ago, we'll do something else. That's fine. Deadlifts not magic though. We like them.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. Now, if you know deadlifts are hurting your back, for example, Joe, if I'm here and I'm like, Joe, everything you told me is great, my technique's good, but you ask me where I'm feeling this, I feel it really in my lower back.
What I would suggest is basically raising that weight a little bit and then see what's going on there. Also, it could be too heavy of a weight for you. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things going on. So I would probably go weight first and then decrease the range of motion. And then if it's still happening, we got to dig a little deeper.
Right. Now, what we found in our eons of doing this, guys, is we love deadlifts. Deadlifts don't mean two-legged. If you've noticed, if you've been here for a little while, we do a lot of single leg deadlifts. We love single arm exercises. We love single leg exercises because it trains out those asymmetries.
Yeah.
Now, what we found is, I don't care what your mobility is, I don't care what your flexibility is, I don't care if you've had an injury in the past, you can do a single leg deadlift.
Yeah.
And it's actually better for you.
It is. Also, the great thing about that is too, considering you're only doing one leg, the amount of weight, you don't have to carry as much weight, but it's actually putting more stress on that one leg. So it's like you're almost doing double, which is so much work. It's awesome.
The crazy thing is you're actually stronger on one leg than you are on two. And the example we always say, so let's just say you can deadlift 100 pounds with two legs, you can probably do a single leg deadlift with like a 61 or 70. So if you do the math, you multiply it,
Yeah.
you are stronger because human beings are meant to be asymmetric. They're supposed to be twisting and turning. But when you think of a single leg deadlift, look at all the good stuff that happens here. It's all the same amazing stuff that I would get from a two-legged deadlift, but now I'm working my core and I'm working my balance. Now when you say core, my body wants to rotate and turn and twist and bend. Everything I have is protecting that. So that is why if you've been here for a bit, we do a lot of single leg deadlifts, single leg presses, single leg squats, split squats, is we want to train the asymmetries.
Also, the cool thing about the single leg deadlift for most people that have back issues like Frank, he can do them. Like, get a really good workout and not feel any pain. For whatever reason, it's just a lot easier, a little bit smoother on the back as we're doing the single leg.
Now, single leg deadlifts do share the same characteristic as double leg deadlifts in the exercise only counts if you finish it.
Right.
Now, for most of us, I'm telling you right now, most of us are just normal Joe Schmoes, we're not pro athletes, you're gonna have a balance issue. We find that it's actually better for most of us if you pick the weight up first, set yourself up. What we're teaching people these days is just go a little bit past the knee,
Yeah, knuckles to your knees.
come up, squeeze.
That's it.
Same thing. A little bit past the knee, come up and squeeze. Now, in a perfect world, I would love everybody to go all the way down, come back up and squeeze, but we're finding, guys, once you get past here, we're losing the point of the exercise. We want you to really, boom, and if you're doing this stuff,
It becomes only a balance exercise, nothing else.
we'll do balance exercises later. Here, we're really trying to, let me get up tight close with you guys. What we really want to do is the old past the knee, and boom!
Tighten that glute.
Tighten that glute. Which we think, again, when we're talking about deadlifts being such a good exercise, we would even say at the top of the pyramid, maybe the single leg.
Yeah. Especially for athletes.
Especially for athletes.
You guys are all athletes. In your own way.
So, you guys have any questions, any concerns about deadlifts? But my advice to everyone is, when we do single leg deadlifts, challenge yourself with weight. Don't get frustrated with balance. Work it. So maybe you start here, the first round, the first set, the first rep, you're like, oh, my balance. Gives a shit, keep going. Boom, boom. After each rep, your body is downloading the software. Boom, you get me a little more depth. Boom. Take it in stride.
Right. Also, first round, like you're saying, to get that mind muscle thing, you can just go body weight. Just opposite arm, opposite leg, just to get that balance in, then pick it up and go from there. That helps a lot too.
Balance-wise, some of y'all, I love you to death, you have some funky shoes. If you come in with these big old cushiony shoes,
Yeah.
think about it. There's a pad this big in between the floor and your foot. It's like doing a single leg deadlift on a pillow.
On your bed.
Now that's great for running, or if you're doing some long bouts of cross training, but for a power exercise like a deadlift, try to go something a little flatter. So I'm not saying you're buying a pair of shoes, but what you could do is, if you know we're doing an exercise relatively heavy, like a deadlift or a squat, for the exercise, you can take your shoes off.
Sock it up.
Sock it up. You got your socks on. Just make sure you bring a fresh pair. Don't get your stanky feet all over the place.
That really sucks.
That stinks. So, questions, concerns, what do you guys got for
What's up,
deadlifts?
Lisa?
Lisa, what is up? Nina, what's up?
Nina in the hizzy.
But deadlifts for sure, everybody. It's all about the booty. It's all about the backside of the core, your erector spinae, your shoulder blades. It's all about posture. Hell, especially these days, we're sitting so much, even
Yes.
more than ever now. We're just trying to get everything in the backside working so we can pull you back. Believe it or not, deadlifts, single leg deadlifts are probably, they get a bad rap for hurting people's back. If you can do these in the absence of pain,
Yeah.
there's probably nothing better for a healthy back.
You know what else on top of the back too? Deadlifts in general, because you're activating your glutes so much, help your knee.
Amazing.
So if you got some knee pain, little weak in the glute area, that'll help a ton.
There was a great study years ago about ACL tears in high school female sports. You know what they attributed to?
Too much quad, right?
Too much quads, too little ass.
Yes.
Weak asses. Train the booty. Train the booty. Because it's talking about again, I love talking about the butt. The butt really, when you think of what the butt's main focus is, everyone thinks it's about pushing the hips forward. It does that as a function, it does a lot of things, but it's really a brake. It really slows down. Boom, squatting. When you land, it slows you down. It's actually a built-in brake on your body. And when that doesn't work, instead of your butt braking, your knee starts absorbing all the force.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Nina has a question for you.
Yes.
She is saying, if your hamstrings are tight, does that put pressure on your back?
It very well could. Now, the first question is to make sure your hamstrings are tight and not taut. The best way to do that is you want to sit just like so, on your butt just like this. If you can touch your toes, and then you stand up, and now you can't touch your toes, it's really the same motion. Your hamstrings aren't necessarily tight. Now, so there's a lot of things that we can do to correct that, but could be, but also there's a difference between being tight and taut. Now, a lot of us, if your hamstrings are overstretched, they will feel like almost like a really tight guitar string. They will feel overstretched. That may affect your lower back, but I would say you still should be able to deadlift. It might be the motion that you're going through.
Could be tilt too.
It could be a pelvic tilt.
Pelvic tilt. Yeah.
Here's next time you're Nina, I'll go over it.
Yeah, that's like a. It's a.
But to answer your question, if someone had tight hamstrings, it 100% could affect their back. Yes. If someone had tight calves, it could affect their back. If someone had tight lats, it could affect their back. But
T-spine.
next time I see you, Nina, or we can do a Zoom, and I can walk you through exactly what to do. But
chances are, if you can touch your toes,
you're pretty good.
It's not the hamstrings.
Not the hamstrings.
Any other questions, guys?
Good question, though.
That's a
I like
great
it.
question.
Yeah.
But again, the way you feel, it changes day to day. Again, Nina, I know like some days your knees are killing you, some days they're not. Nina. So, I mean, shit, there are days you come in, you can crush everything. There are days you come in, your back's kind of tight. Hell, you're not deadlifting that day, that's fine.
Right.
I love deadlifts. Yeah, you're good at them too. Single leg
That's
especially.
right, baby. It's awesome. I can tell everyone, if you can't do a double deadlift like me, and you can do a single deadlift, that's actually better than not being able to do a single deadlift and being able to do a double deadlift.
Right.
If you could choose one, choose a single leg.
Absolutely.
Hey, same thing with shoulder press. This is better than this.
Yep.
Same thing with a chest press. That's why we do so many one arms. This
So much
is
harder.
way better than this.
Yep.
This, way better than this. Totally. Well,
Totes.
well, guys, that's deadlifts in a nutshell. If you want to rewatch this, practice on your own, let us know. Message us individually.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that everything is smooth like your grandmother's peanut butter. All right, peace out, guys.
Keep those questions coming.
Keep